continue to the video that show you how to integrate cost and schedule in Primavera. The previous video, you learned how to create a schedule, and basically that you already learned in construction planning and control. And now how to assign resources. It can be workers, it can be project manager, it can be equipment, it can be materials, concrete, rebar, tile, ceiling, ductwork, or it can be money. And in this video, we want to show you how to integrate money, but the process will be the same for other type of resources. So let me share the screen in here. So for this screen, we continue with this problem and develop a cost and schedule in Primavera. And that problem built up on the problem one, where we have the monthly indirect cost, 5,000 per month, contractor markup in Herbit 25%, and then the direct cost for each activity, 50,000 for A, B 40,000, etc. And go back to our Primavera. And now, a previous video, we create a project already, and that's same to your deliverable number one. You already developed schedule for the project. So let me open that project here, CPM 21, and it now the activity that we already have, and now we want to integrate the costs or any type of resources in this schedule. So with that one, how can we do? First, we need to define resources. And to define resources, we can go to left, and you see the resources, people face in here, click in there, and that you can see many resources already default in Primavera. Let's define one for us. So let's do E&C resources, engineering and construction. And there you can right click to add resources, or you can top right in here with the plus side, you can add resources. And when you add resources, it go to here, and you can go other level. Resource ID, you can name whatever identification for your resource. Let me check that is CPM 21, so that is from our class. And the project name, resource name, it can be workers, it can be excavator, it can be concrete, it can be money. In this case, the money for each activity. So I just say activity costs. And then I click next. And you see not labor, it can be non-labor or material. You may select material or non-labor. The unit of measure here in money, but you see that here can be each lump sum, it can be ton, for example, steel, it can be cubic yard, like concrete. Here we select linear feet, like the duct work or electric wire. So now it's money, so you select money and select an add sign in there, add, click next. Now this one is the you can define the price per unit and the 4 unit per time. So let's take the 4 unit per time is per month, because our schedule is duration unit in month. So I just say the 4 is 1 per month. Maximum, how many in our this is money. So per month, you can say how much resources, how much money you can allocate to this project. And this one I can just say 200,000 or whatever I have, or you think you can have in your credit line for per month that can use for project. You can set up that maximum unit. And the price per unit, you see a little bit tricky here. You can say $1 per dollar. It means that you don't have markup or things like that. So in your project, because you only consider the cost and indirect cost already tied to your activity, then you just say 1. Okay, so $1 is associated with. However, for years, they have 25% markup. So it means whenever the cost I generate for that activity, for example, 50,000, I should get another 25%. That's where I charge the client markup for profit and overhead, etc. So with that, you can put like price is 1.25. 1.25 means whenever $1 I spend on project, I should get 1.25 because that I have 25% markup. It's 10%, so 1.1. In your project, if you don't have that markup, it already built in your price, then you just say 1 in here. Make sense? So that price per unit. Next, nothing, and then you finish. And then the CPM 21 resource activity cost in here. And from there, we go to the project. It can be to the activity here, or you can go to the green bar in there. So go back to the activity. Now I am assigned resource, CPM 21, the money, to each activity. So for example, A, you can right click again, just like when we assign the predecessor for resource, you do the same, right click and assign and resources. And then a tab appear, you select CPM and you add that. And then you see in the tab resources, if it in general you don't see it, go to the resource tab in the bottom windows in there, and then you can select that how many unit per time. Time here is month because our duration is month. And how much we have activity A here 50,000 for 2 months, so it's 25,000 each. B 40,000 for 2 months, so 20 each. C 60,000 for 1.5 months, so it will be 40,000 per month. And then D 30,000 for 2 months, so 15,000 per month. That for direct cost. So I can put it in here. For B, again go back here, 50,000, so it will be 25,000 in here. So not 50,000, it's 25,000 per month because that's the unit we have. And then it shows you now the budget is 50,000, and that exactly we have it in here, 50,000. Similarly, we do for B, we add that one and go to the tab resources, and that one is 40,000 for 2 months, so it will be 20,000 in the unit per time, and you see 40,000. C, 60,000 for 1.5 months. You can add in, it will be 40,000 per month, and it show you 60,000. And D, 30,000 for 2 months. You can select that resources that you already defined, add in, and it will be 15,000, and that 30,000. Okay, so that you already assign the direct costs and indirect costs, direct costs and the markup for that direct cost into schedule. However, how can we add the monthly indirect costs? So for example, general condition, etc. Pay for superintendents, internship, intern, all of that is indirect cost. How can we assign that into? It's not associated to any activity A, B, C, D, but it's separate. It's time dependent. How can we do that? So there are a few ways, but here you can create another dummy activity into this schedule and assign that indirect cost. So with that one, I can add, right click, add an activity, or top right here, you can add an activity. So here, top right, add activity. So there I can change the name. It's okay, 000. So it show up in the top, and you can see. So that is the general condition, for example, or indirect cost, right? General summary, activity name summary. Oh, condition. You can name that one like that. Next, finish. And now it only here, you can say that it should be 4 months. So you can tie that with 4 months, right? So you can tie that with start when activity A start and finish when activity D finish. So you can assign the predecessor for that activity by right click, assign predecessor, something we did before, and it follow the A and D. So there and close, go to the tab predecessor. You have general condition follow AD, and you can customize the relationship. Instead of finish start, it actually start. The general condition is spend the whole project. A, the first activity. When A start, we spend money. When D finish, we stop spending indirect cost. So start and lock to 0, and then D, it should be finish to finish. When D finish, then general condition finish. So there you can continue to have running the program. So that way you have general condition. And now with that general condition, you can assign the indirect cost $5 per month, plus on top of that, it will be the markup 25%. That already have it in that resource. So from there, you can go to assign the resource again for this activity general condition. So you can assign resources, and this one already include 25%. When I define resource, the price per unit is $1.25 per unit. Remember that. Then we can add that resources. So when you add the assign there, it's not showing up there. You go, because in the tab predecessor, you go to resources, it's there. And you per month for indirect cost, 5,000 per month. For 4 months, you see 20,000. Okay, so that we already done. Now, what can you do? What can you show it in here? So there you can go to the top, on top here, and the icon is activity uses profile. Select that, and now you can see the project cost. The curve, and you can see something we do by hand. The red curve here, estimating the red cost on of that to that one is similar to that. It will be in this curve. So it integrates this curve. It both the direct cost, indirect cost, and the markup already included. In your project, you already have the costs for each activity, each item. If you associate that item to certain activity in your schedule, you can be able to tie together, define one resource like me, and then you can assign the activity. Actually, you can go to here on the left, you see the activity resources. You can see how you assign for each activity, for each work, how much dollar on what day, and you can be able to select the profile that I just showed you earlier. If we go back to the bar, so show you the resources. If you want to not show in the resource profile. So in this case, they integrate the schedule and cost for each activity. You see the curve there. You can just go top here, only select the usage spreadsheet. So how much money you spend for each activity, and then on what month. So you see that it break it down in each activity for the budget for each activity, and the total for the project, total for project. The top is total, and each activity breakdown in here. So if you select the tab is activity usage spreadsheet, and if you use this profile, so you see that the curve and the profile using the money in there. And if you go back to the normal, so you can show the details in there, so you can have go back. So if you want to go to test in there. Now, if you want to select the cost for certain activity only, you see the whole thing, 250,000. Now, if you want to show activity B and C, so you can select B and then C, D, okay, only, and it can show you that as well. Go back here, you can select activity B, activity C, and okay, and then you select here activity, select it. You see on the bottom left here, all activity, all selected activity. I select B and D, then I select activity. You see the cost going down because that only for activity B and D. If it only B, so you don't select that, select B only, it have here. If you want to go back to all activity, click all activity. It goes to the normal. And now if you want to create a report, then you can go to the left here, click on that button, and they can show you the report for how to create the report for this project. Okay, so there are many multiple ways that you can do for the resource, for example, loading, etc. You can play in here.